Working Class Bowhunter Podcast, episode 590. Kurt Geyer speaking.
Eric Hammond.
Doug Schmidt.
And our two guests of the hour, Mr. Larry, Mr. Ryan from Elite Archery. And is it Elites Respect the Game still? I always say Elites Respect the Game.
It's just respect the game.
Put some respect on the game.
That's right.
Respect
the game.
Respect.
So I always say that because you guys used to call it Elites Respect the Game TV, right?
Yeah, it's been that long. Literally, I think, what is this, Ryan? Our 13th season. 13th season.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's time's flown by, that's for sure.
We'll start with you, Larry. Who is Larry McCoy?
So, Larry McCoy is just a guy that likes to go out and hunt and
dance.
And dance and do all the fun things.
I was born in Missouri.
Yeah,
not that far back, Larry.
I'm from Missouri. I'm from Missouri. Yeah, but no, back in the day, we I helped start a show called Heartland Bowhunter, and it just evolved into a full-time job with a company called Elite Archery.
Mm-hmm.
And with that evolved a conglomerate group called the Outdoor Group. So Scott Archery, Slick Trick Broadheads, and some other brands within the industry is owned by the Outdoor Group, and I am an employee of the Outdoor Group itself.
Mm-hmm.
With that, my segue into the industry was definitely behind the lens. So I was, filming with Heartland Bowhunter and helped start that show and get it going. And as things started to evolve, you get to a point to where you're like, man, I got to make a living doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I got approached by Elite because I was doing some freelance video stuff with them. And they're like, hey, you want a full-time gig? And so I just happened to be one of the guys that got in at the very beginning. And now it's formed into the Outdoor Group, and we have got multiple brands, and it's just kind of expelled from there.
So when you started, was it just Elite?
Yes.
And then over the years, they acquired these other companies?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do want to get into, I want to nerd out on some bow stuff. Even like, I know we talk bows with you guys every time you're in. We kind of nerd out on like some of the past bows, but I think it's fun to do that, especially coming into season like this. So I do want to get to that. Like, I want to talk about like Elites then, right?
Yep.
And then Ryan, who the hell are you, man? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Just
Who the hell are you, Ryan?
He went from throwing hot rivets to running a camera.
right, and just a guy that likes to run around with a camera.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I did anything I could for money.
Yeah.
I did iron work. Picked up trash, mowed lawns. But the whole time I just run around with a camera trying to learn, learn different things. I knew Larry from my dad. My dad knew Larry, and one day Larry noticed I was liking to run around with the camera, so he's like, hey, just here's some different stuff. Go take pictures of it. I'm like, sweet. I'm getting free calls and bows, and
Yeah.
I was on top of the world.
The dream.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. So I just kept on taking pictures, and he just kind of watched over my shoulder from a distance. And one day I was actually headed up to the Iowa Deer Classic, and he called me. He's like, hey, you want a job? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. You want to know how much you want to make? Like, you want to know what you're going to make? And I'm like, no. I do not care.
Tired of picking up garbage.
Yeah, do not care. So I just got a job with the Outdoor Group, and
Yeah.
been fun ever since. Just
That's cool.
chasing him around with a camera most of the time.
I have a strong feeling that you're downplaying your hustle before getting offered a job.
For sure. And that's where I was going to chime in, because I can tell you,
He's such a humble dude.
Yeah.
Just a couple pictures.
Yeah.
I took 3 pictures at a job.
Right. Knowing Ryan's dad, Kent, for many years prior, and watching Ryan grow up, I could see a lot of vision and talent in Ryan, kind of behind the scene. His work ethic, for one. Number two, he was doing things that was different than most would behind the camera. Not based upon how to operate the camera, but what he's seen and what he wanted to achieve behind the lens.
Yeah.
And wasn't willing to settle for something that was just good. If it wasn't to his liking, he was like, I'm going to try to figure out how to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really kind of it was refreshing for me to see somebody that had a passion like that for it. So, right away I was like, man, he's got the talent, he's got the eye,
Yeah.
It's just a matter of mold. Not that I know everything, but I was more than willing to share what I did know.
For sure,
and help kind of form him to be kind of, the post-production guy he is today, not only behind the lens, but also hopefully help influence new ideas to where he can eventually evolve to where he's creating his own new ideas, because that's ultimately what it takes. I mean, technology's taken a huge leap over the course of the years from when I did it, and I definitely recognize that. So sometimes it takes, a lot of new ideas and new being able to welcome those new ideas,
fresh perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff,
to be able to look at things and say, you know what, hey, I would have never thought of that crap. And that's why Ryan and I work so well together, because he brings up, I can't even count how many times he said, man, what do you think about this? I'm like, damn, that sounds a little weird. But then he's like, then they show, he shows me, and
it makes sense.
And it's like, man,
that was good.
That
you see the final cut, you're like, well.
And two, like, Paul Biggs is another member of the RTG team.
Yeah.
And Paul and I, we've been in the industry for quite a while. Yeah, for sure. And Ryan has brought a fresh perspective to Paul and myself as it pertains to that. So rather than sit back and keep doing things the way that we were doing it, I feel like we are doing our best to evolve with something. We can put out a product that we're going to be happy with, a fresh perspective, something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some people like it, some people may not. But what I can say is it's going to be different. It's going to be different. We're going to try new things. There may be some people like it. There may be some people that don't. But but all we're going to keep trying because we love to do
Elite. When did Elite launch? When was like the debut year? Was it like 20? I'm going to take a guess.
Okay.
2012?
2012 is a really good guess. It was right around there. We had the Elite Hunter was a very popular bow at the time. Smooth draw, everything Elite's known for. And then it graduated to the Answer, and then the Energy Series. The Energy Series came about, and
so I'm going to cut you off real quick. Were you there from day one?
I was there from day one.
Really? No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Elite Hunter was the one that.
So they brought you in day one.
Yep.
And that's when they had.
I was actually freelance videoing with Elite, and it was one of those things where I just got along with the guys, and we were freelancing. We were putting out what we thought we were all having a good time, and
2011.
Shit, you're probably number one on seniority there, aren't you?
Yeah, Darren Christianberry was there too. He got actually hired on full time the same time I did. And
someone's got to be first.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Hey, if anybody doesn't know Darren Christianberry, they definitely need to Google Darren Christianberry and follow Darren Christianberry.
We need to have him on again. It's been a hot minute.
I know it's been a few years. We need to get him on.
He is definitely a jewel in the industry for sure. When it comes to bow knowledge and just, for those of you that don't know, Darren had some issues, some shoulder issues, some knee issues and stuff in the past. If you're not a target archer, you probably won't know. But so in the recent years, he's had some of that stuff taken care of and switched from shooting right hand to left hand, which
that's so crazy.
Yeah. And
I would never even think to do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right. And Ryan and I talk about it all the time. We're like, man, I don't even know. I don't even feel right when I even act like I'm talking.
I can't even do it. Like
I can't even wipe my butt left hand.
No,
exactly.
No. Like I can't even think about how to. Yeah, it's so far out. But I guess he likes archery that much. He's that dedicated. He's going to figure it out, right? And we all would probably, but
he's a successful target archer. There's no doubt. Back in Darren has a resume in the target world, guys. You hear me say. Every bow company makes a great bow. They really do.
Without a doubt. Except for I'm kidding.
Well, technology is so advanced now that it's really about you as a shooter being comfortable in shooting, and that's one thing that I feel like Elite does offer is a comfortable shot.
Yeah.
So, and that's for you to decide. All you got to do is go shoot one. And if it is for you, then don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Jordan, our intern, because he's still a little gay. I was telling him, when you get over and do an Elite, He's just
I mean,
shaking his head.
I'm just looking at his socks right now.
Dude, no cap, bruh. So, by the way, he doesn't say that.
Dude, that kid has jaundice for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. You look like
I heard him
shit.
say it once, so.
You look like shit.
Yeah, he doesn't talk like a Gen Z or whatever generation we're in. But I was telling him, like, dude, if a bow company's saying is the shootability like challenge, there's something to it. It's like if all you got to say is like just go shoot one,
Yeah.
and then you know what I mean. That's cocky,
Ultimately,
confident.
Yeah, and ultimately, actually, Ryan. Whenever Ryan first came on, he asked me about the shootability side of it. What does that really mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
ultimately,
What does that mean?
ultimately, that was a
Great
term.
question, Ryan.
Yeah, that was a term.
Thanks for bringing that up.
That was a term that Elite really invented, I guess, or came up with on their own. And ultimately, shootability is a term that basically says if you like the bow and it is shootable for you, then that's the bow you need to shoot. And with the smooth draw, the solid back wall, we were confident, Elite was confident in saying, if you go shoot our bow, at least give us an opportunity, if you're in the market for a new bow, let Elite Archery be in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And go shoot it, and then tell us that it's not.
And that's what I think I like about you, Larry, is because, like, you're always like, go shoot whatever you want.
Yeah,
Just give us a try. If you don't like it, that's fine.
exactly.
Go
I
shoot
want
the
you
other
to be.
bow.
I want you to go kill deer.
Right.
Go kill deer and shoot what you're comfortable with. But if you don't shoot an Elite, I'm just telling you right now, you're not going to know whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
yeah, right, for sure. I mean, I love the Elite feel, and that's what sold me. That's why I went honestly, like. And for people like, oh yeah, you're just kissing ass. Like, genuinely, you can go back and listen to our library of
That
podcasts.
was 2015 when we bought those.
Yeah, we were podcasting about it. It was all, So
I'm not going to say for 1 minute that Elite is going to be a bow for everybody.
Yeah, no bow is for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've shot Matthews bows that I like. I've shot Hoyt boys that I like. I've shot Bowtechs that I like. And they're great shooting bows. Mm-hmm. It's about the bow that you like. What are you going to be the most comfortable shooting when you come to full draw that you're going to be most comfortable with your pin settling down and you hitting right behind your pin?
Where do you guys lean on your bows? Like, what if you had to pick your number one picks? ATA, brace height. You could pick your custom bow, build it.
30.
Well, I could tell you, I'm going to let you go, Ryan, because I know what I want to say.
Well, I got a longer draw length, so I really like a 33, 34 inch axle to axle.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's your draw
anymore-
length? 34?
Yeah, 31. But I mean, anymore, a lot of times axle to axle is such a relevant number or irrelevant number, anyways, because of if you look at these bows. I mean, your takeoff angle on these strings is so much further than what the axle to axle is. So when people say this 32-inch bow feels like a longer bow, it's because the cams stick out so much higher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's
Yeah.
It's not 1990 and you're with these little bitty cams anymore.
And your limbs are like this.
Yeah, these oversized cams, it makes a big difference on how that bow feels.
Yeah, that's a great point,
That's why you can have these shorter axle bows, but it just feels longer.
It feels like a longer axle.
yeah.
bow.
So that like 33, 34, it's so stable with the longer risers. I mean, you will see your accuracy improve. There's no doubt about
which
it.
I pose a question we've asked it internally. It's like, why, within the archery space, everybody really goes off axle length. But with technology, cam designs and everything evolving, the cams are getting bigger, different cam designs are causing the string takeoffs to be a little bit different. So if I were to measure this era right here, why would I measure from here to here when the string takeoff
Right.
is another 2 inches past that?
So they need to update
On
their
each
terminology to like cam
to
tip to
cam.
cam tip.
Yeah, like overall length or
Yeah,
whatever,
tip to
because it's like, okay, because I feel like as working for a bow manufacturer, you lose sales from a guy that's 30 inches like myself on a 31.5-inch bow.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see
You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they're used to shooting a 32-inch bow, but this is actually probably going to be 34 inches overall length.
Right.
Yeah, it's a real good point.
You know,
Never thought of it that way.
That's I mean that's why when you draw the bow and you're like, God, man, this thing aims really well.
Yeah, because that's like a common bow review comment.
Yeah, exactly. And some people
why.
don't. And some people with those longer draw lengths don't even go try to shoot
Because
that
it's
bow
not the
because the
idea you're used to.
axle length isn't what
They
they
box
normally shoot.
they box it out of their opportunity.
Exactly.
And it might only be an inch or so of what they prefer.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense.
And they probably won't even be able to tell the difference from their old bow to the new one.
Right. Because the bow's going to point the same. Risers are longer, limbs become shorter, and the cams become bigger. So therefore, the overall length of the bow becomes bigger. The takeoffs are bigger. So the string angle from in 2015, the string angle of a 20 or 30-inch bow was going to be really, really steep for a 30-inch draw guy.
Right.
It's totally different now.
Real quick, and then we're gonna shift gears. Eric, favorite, or it can't be, and maybe not favorite, but what's one bow from Elite that you've shot that like you're kind of like, I think about that one often.
My Synergy.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. So it was your introduction, right?
Yep.
It has like
100%.
Synergy.
And funny story, because remember mine was the Black Riser camo limbs.
Yep.
Well, a guy we met this year, we got to meet him. I went through his Facebook and he has one just like that. I'm like, where did you buy that? And he goes, I bought it from a guy in Illinois. I'm like, bro,
Who'd you sell your bow to?
your buddy that you worked with at Deer.
I don't remember who it was.
That's your bow.
Oh, yeah.
It's your bow.
Yeah, I remember now.
But it came
the
from
world
a
of
different guy in
traveling bow.
Illinois, but I don't know who he bought it from. So I'm full circle. The
Dude,
guy
he
we
also
just
bought
met
my
might-
dad's Impulse 31. I wonder if he still has that.
this guy might, or the guy we met might have my old bow. I just haven't figured it out yet.
It's your bow.
I know.
You're like, you gotta go get that thing.
I know. I need to buy.
Yeah,
it.
how many are out there like that?
I've never seen another guy have one that has a Black Riser with snow camo limbs.
I'm gonna have a bunch of people reach out to me with an all black Synergy. That definitely is not my bow. I'm just gonna be like, got your bow. How bad you want it, bitch?
Hey, $1,000. What's up?
Yeah. Damn it.
How much you got?
How much you got? It's like, shut up. I think mine would be, yeah, of course, the Synergy is my introduction. The Ritual and the Ritual 35. I like both of those. My buddy Tyler's got my 35. Yeah, I don't know. Like the Ritual, for some reason, I always go back. But like, man, the Synergy,
Synergy
I
is
like
so
them all.
awesome.
When you really like think about what you shot, I'm like, man, that bow was awesome. It did like, you know what I mean? Like you like the color of one, how it looks. Because you spend so much time with them, you stare at them all day when you're hunting. You're like, damn.
Well, the Ritual is a badass bow, but just because we have the limited edition one too,
Just stare. Yeah,
that's the one bow I'll never sell.
Oh yeah, I keep it forever. Doug, what about you?
I like the Impulse 31. That was my introduction into Elite, and then I really did like that Result 36.
Yeah, you were telling me that earlier. Like,
What color was that one? Green?
That was the green.
Yeah.
That thing was slick.
The green bastard.
It's like
Which that's a
when you
good-
walk in
that's
the
a
room,
great
it stands
point.
out more than the other ones.
Because here we are, we're talking about axle length, right? And
That was a big boy.
yeah, he's talking about a 36-inch axle.
That was 36 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You talked him into
Yeah,
it.
you told me to get it. I was like, are you sure? Like,
I clearly didn't give a fuck what you were shooting.
I was like, are you sure? Like, they're not even mad. Like, it's a tournament bow. Like,
'Cause I
target
think-
bow. You're like,
I
Doug
think
was
I-
telling me, he's like, man, I really like that Result 36. I was like, were you hunting with it? He's like, oh yeah, man. He's like, a lot of stuff with that bow.
Kurt thinks it's a good idea.
That's awesome.
I think this was the introduction
Cut
to you
down
getting
a lot of limbs.
these crazy fucking colors, and that the
no,
only
I started with the Cure, the copper flame.
Yeah, that copper flame was
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, that was slick.
I thought it was just like you could
Kurt
only
did
get
that
that.
too. He's like, you should get the copper flame. was
I
like,
stand
all right.
by that decision.
Yeah.
I still stand by the Result one. I just forgot I talked you into it.
Peer pressure.
What about you guys? And you got to pick favorites of your own children.
Ooh. It might be recency bias, but the Omnia is nice.
Yeah.
It shoots so good. And I shot the Era for a while, and then I went back to the Omnia, and I'd almost kind of forgot how good the Omnia felt. And I mean, it is so dead in the hand.
It's getting shit done. That's how you describe the Omnia.
Yeah. It's
cooking.
so quick. It's so fast.
I should just go home and shoot all my bows. Like, back to back to back to see which one feels the
Mm-hmm.
greatest.
It'll be fun. What about you,
I
Larry?
don't, I'm gonna just say, like, if the Encore isn't his top 1 or 2, just because of the year he had with that Encore, it seemed like everywhere we went, 2 sets in, he was shooting a freaking giant.
I think that was the year we went to Nebraska, wasn't it?
I think it was the year right after that
Oh,
when he shot that velvet buck, and then it just seemed like that velvet buck opened up a door of. He was shooting everything every time we stepped into camp. He's like,
you're literally getting him encore.
The Encore was definitely a one of my top ones. For
Yeah.
sure. But as I shoot more and more, I'm going to say the Omnia has really taken hold of, just from performance standpoint. Honestly, I mean, the bow feels with the, everything. The output of the bow is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. With a 6-inch brace height, the way the bow points and aims, everything has been 100%. I mean, my jam.
Yeah.
And being we work in the industry, we shoot other stuff, but I kind of gauge that by what I gravitate myself back to. Mm-hmm. And I find myself going back and shooting the Omnia more than I do the other ones. I love the Era. The Era shoots great. I've killed a lot of animals with the Era, and it shoots phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more performance out of the Omnia. So that's why I would say that. And that's me just being 100% honest about that. I like both bows. Am I going to shrug my shoulders to either one of them if I got to pick one up and go to the woods with them? Not at all.
it's a good thing. Like, even if you're switching from Elite to Elite or from another brand to Elite, something that
100%.
they've done a really good job of, have made Elites really easy to transition. You know, whether it's a draw stop, or, you know, if you want a cable stop, a limb stop, if you want, I mean, there's so many features that just can accommodate so many guys transition from one brand to another, or one bow to another, that it's just, it's comfortable. They just, you know.
That's the one thing
The
that
shootability
I
side.
would like to point out is because, and Ryan Grit, I mean, thank you for bringing that up, because with the customization of the Elite bow, I mean, literally, the bow, you can pick the bow, but then you can set the bow up to pick you, if that makes sense. You can set it up for a cable stop or a limb stop. I would highly recommend for whoever goes and shoots an Elite to ask about shooting it with a limb stop and a cable stop.
Yeah. See what they prefer.
Yeah, exactly.
It comes with a cable stop.
It comes,
installed.
yeah.
I mean, you're going to shoot it and test it with a cable stop from the bow shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ask the bow shop to put some limb stops in it, and so you can see what the bow feels like.
Right.
Okay.
Because
People
you
who
make-
don't know,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Okay, the difference is the stop will rest up against the cable at full draw with the cable stop. So it may, if you're shooting a thumb button release, that may be something that you're really going to like, because it's going to allow just enough little bit of give to get that release to fire. The limb stop is going to screw in right up here by the cam, and it'll roll around, and there's little limb pads right here where the stop will rest up against, and that's going to create a super, super solid back wall. No give whatsoever. And one person may like the cable stops, one person may like the limb stops.
You
Like,
guys
for
that have been
instance-
shooting
yeah.
Elite for a while and you like your impulses, your synergies,
Yep.
put the limb stop in there.
Yeah.
That's going to be that traditional, tried and true Elite feel that you
sure.
felt for years.
I've been shooting my Omnia with cable stops and like it, but I do love limb stops. Like I'm going to set my Era up with limb stops. Mm-hmm. You know, give me that feel. that-
And
That
every
rock
boat
solid.
comes with both options.
Both
Yep.
of them.
You can put them
Exactly.
on if you want.
Yep. You can have the cable stop or limb
Super
stop.
easy to install.
And you can control let off, because there are some states that have laws against, you can't shoot over, the let off restrictions. Mm-hmm. So you can literally change it right on the fly without a bow press.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can move the stops out and 5% increments?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. 5% increments. So you can get it. If it's all the way back, it's going to be 90% let off. You can loosen the screw, and there'll be divots. Every divot's going to be a 5% increment, and you can decrease it. So like Colorado, I believe, has a let off restriction. So you can adjust it if you're going to Colorado elk hunt. You can get it to where the bow is 100% legal to go. Do it without even a bow, without a bow press.
Yeah. Will that change a lot of your accuracy if you just switch that?
It'll change a little bit of the feel. Obviously, you're going to be holding up back a little bit more poundage, but the bow's still going to perform great.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know, like, if you're sighted in at whatever percent let off and you switch it to a different percent let off, I wonder if it would change your tape or your pin gap or anything like
It
that.
could. Yeah, I mean, it could for
Definitely
sure.
shoot before just doing it. Yeah.
For sure.
Don't just change and go hunting.
Yeah, don't do it in the stand.
Right, yeah,
Don't do it in the stand.
Don't do it in the stand. The one
Yeah,
thing,
but I don't need a press. I can do it in the stand. Okay?
We've pretty much done it with the cure when we first came out with the adjust. I mean, the deer I shot in Nebraska, we got the bow day one of the hunt. They shipped it to camp.
So you set it up in camp?
We set it up in
I
camp.
had my
And
bow press with me. Yep.
set it up, and Larry, we set it up for him, and then we were swapping back and forth. I mean, we'd change it to my draw length, and then I'd go hunting, and then we'd change it to his draw length.
fucking badass.
And I ended up shooting my buck with his bow. Just changed the draw length real quick and went out there.
That's insane.
Okay, so
That's pretty cool.
we're still on bow talk, but I do want to transition. But I don't think that I can move on. I'm not going to do it. So he's smiling at me. But we got to bring up like what's coming for 24 and into the fall, what you can and cannot say. Because if I don't at least ask that, people will be like,
Yeah.
talked all that time about old bows. You didn't even talk to him about the new bows? What the fuck? You know, so.
All right. So, yeah. New bows. Obviously, 23, we had the Era come out. And carbon bow, Elite's first carbon bow. It's been a great success, and people are loving the bow. It was the bow of the year, in a lot of different categories. Omni is a great shooting rig from a performance standpoint. We've got a lot of requests in for longer axle style bow that's going to perform in between the two. That's going to, just be a shooting machine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
And
Elite
Literary
plans to
man.
deliver that. Elite plans to deliver that.
Okay. So you telling me not to ask you more questions?
No. I mean, you can ask questions. I'm just very limited on what I can say. But what I will tell you this is, I have spent some time behind the 24 bow, and I'm excited for people to spend some time behind it as well. No, and I think, as time has went on, there's been there's a lot of screw ups on our end as well. So, we're able to speak on them and learn from them, learn from our mistakes and share it with people too, because I'm not afraid to tell people when I screw up or well, it's 100% me. I mean, sometimes there are things that happen in the field when you are shooting at an animal that you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I did want to bring up. I was thinking about earlier is because we talk about all the things that you can do right. You can still do a lot of things right, but you can't control a lot of times how the animal is going to react and what happens. And
Super good point. Yeah.
So if that does happen to somebody, because we are all bow hunters, you just got to keep your chin up and keep moving. It's the toughest thing to do in the sport. Is
gotta keep on keeping on.
And we care. If we didn't care, it wouldn't tear us up.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's something to note too. And anybody who's bow hunted long enough is going to have it happen to them. And that's why it's like, it sucks. You see like shit happens. And when something like that happens, it gets put online. Other bow hunters are the first people to attack other bow hunters. And what it shows me is like, oh, they haven't been around. They haven't been around long enough.
Because you hear that all the time. It's like people are like, oh man, it happens. Yeah, it does. It still fucking sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
You know what I
It
mean?
sucks.
It sucks.
But it's a way to help your homie cope with a shitty
sure.
situation. Dude,
sure.
it happens, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude. That's a great thing to close on too from that conversation. But where can people find you guys?
Brian, go ahead.
Whew. All the social media outlets you guys love and enjoy, we're there. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of them.
TikToks.
TikTok is
limited.
Yeah,
I don't do it
TikTok
either.
doesn't like some of our content, but it's personal pages. So if you want to follow Larry or me or Paul on TikTok, we are there.
Cool.
Sportsman's Channel, MOTV, Waypoint. There's if you got it, we should be there.
Yep.
YouTube.
Respect the Game TV.
Yep.
You guys are killing
Follow
it.
us. Yep. And if anybody has any questions too about any gear, any questions, doesn't matter whether you're shooting Elite or whatever brand, we're more than happy to help anybody out. And if we don't have the answer for you, we will make sure we get it for you. So don't hesitate to send us a message and ask us.
Yeah. 100%.
Cool. Appreciate it, guys. Doug, Eric,
Thanks
what do you
for
guys
having us,
got?
Thanks for coming in,
Thanks
boys.
for coming. It's always a pleasure.
Always a blast.
Yep. Heck yeah. Thanks for having us.
Glad you got to see me.
Big fans of mine. Well, you know what I want to do? I'm really motivated to go shoot my bow.
Oh, shit.
Go shoot your bow too.
Your new one?
Oh yeah, Josh McDaniel. We're coming to see you, brother. We're gonna get it set up. Yeah. You know what to do? Go shoot your bow. We love you. Peace. See you next week.